I don't know, you tell me, is that something you want to see in your wedding video? What's up guys, it's Dustin, and it's time for me to get a few things off my chest. I've been privileged enough to oversee a lot of wedding films this year, and for the most part, I'm impressed. You guys are definitely talented, and I've seen some really nice films this year. But there are a few common mistakes that need to go away now and forever. Now, I don't want to pick on anyone specific, so I'm not going to use real footage, but I'll use hypothetical examples that I may or may not have seen in about 50% of the weddings lately. Word of warning to the viewer, if you watch this and it seems like I'm talking specifically about you, that's great because I probably am. But let me preface by saying I've made every one of these mistakes myself, so all of these things I say with respect. Here are 3 things that, in my opinion, ruin wedding videos. Number 1, seeing your own equipment in your footage. Now, I love camera gear as much as anyone else, but it does not belong in your wedding film. It cheapens the footage, and really there's just no excuse. I'm not talking about occasionally seeing a light stand or swinging past a tripod with your gimbal. I'm talking about intentionally placing your equipment in a place you know is going to appear in your shot later on. For instance, at the ceremony, why would you ever set up your B camera to shoot straight back at you from behind the bride? How is that not an immediate red flag for you? Okay, here's a common scenario. You've got a 3-camera setup at your wedding ceremony. Officiant, wedding party, groom, bride. Instead of setting up with your C camera straight down the aisle pointing back at your A camera, move your C camera off to the side so it can grab the bride as she walks towards the center aisle. Then when she turns, you pick her up with your A camera right down the center. That's the beauty of having 3 cameras, is you can probably capture all the action without ever having to get in your own way. Then if you want that center aisle shot after the bride has been passed off to the groom, just move your C-cam back to the center and point it down the middle after she's been dropped off. To make it easy, here's your new mindset. If you can see another camera in your footage, consider that shot useless. I'm actually seeing it so often that the editors are forced to use footage with the equipment in it because there's no other usable angles. And I can already hear people saying, well, what's the big deal? I just try to set up so that I can be prepared when I move for the next shot. And as a solo shooter, I can almost get on board with that. But no. If anything, I want my film to look better than the day did in reality. Nothing breaks the viewer out of that fantasy faster than seeing camera equipment in the shot. You might as well splice in some footage of the DJ trashing the playlist or the coordinator arguing with the mom. So the next time you set up for a ceremony, consider where you'll be, where the subject will be, and if at any point in there you're going to see your own equipment in your shot. Moving on. Number 2, shooting the exact same stuff the photographer's already getting. It really bothers me when I see footage that was clearly just shot by a videographer standing right next to the photographer as they photograph the couples. It's usually wide angle, static, and about this height, and the couple is looking slightly off camera. Look, we've all done it, and you can even get a couple of these lazy shots per wedding. Just don't get too comfy there. It's late in the season and we're all tired, but I'm begging you to resist the urge to phone it in. Our job is to create a film, not a slideshow of moving images that look exactly the same as their wedding photos. Nobody needs that. A good way to make sure you'll have time to get creative is to lock in with a photographer prior to the wedding. Let them know that you're working really hard to make sure that your content looks different from theirs, and that you'll be shooting different angles from the side as they're photographing the couple, and then you'll speak up when it's time for you to jump in and direct the couple for a shot of your own. A lot of shots look great as photos, but horrible as video. For example, when the couple's told to stand next to each other holding hands and just looking away from each other. Who are they looking at? Or the couple kissing while the bride waves her train in front of her really slowly. It just looks like she's trying to hide a fart. You can't make it make sense, so just skip it or change it when it's your turn to shoot. Another great one is the random walking shots from nowhere to nowhere. Now, I just said this in my last video, and I really do appreciate that photographers are trying to incorporate a little more motion into their photos, but they're not shooting video and they're not thinking the same way you are. We want our films to have a natural flow, and it's really hard to do that when too many of our shots are clearly contrived. If you're gonna do a walking shot, ask a couple questions first. Where are they walking from? Where are they going? What is the point of this shot for your video? What is the point of a shot of the groom walking away from a wall with no door, stopping awkwardly in front of your camera to smile? Is it a transition shot to show the groom walking towards the ceremony, or are you just trying to spice up solo portraits of him and you have no idea how to make him look natural? Same thing with group walking shots. Is the point to show the whole group walking together in a line holding hands? Or is it because you're trying to highlight the interaction between a close-knit group of friends? Instead, shoot it from the side and zoom in. It'll bring the focus back to the expressions of the people as they look at each other and laugh, and away from the fact that they're walking in an awkward line on the side of a hill going nowhere. Okay, I think I beat that one up enough. You get the point. You're there to create a film, and that requires direction, not just camera operation. Moving on to my final pet peeve of the day. Number 3, shooting without showing context. Like all these things, I'm guilty of doing this one as well. And if you're shooting a lot, it's really easy to develop this bad habit, so be careful. To me, context is the other angle, the stuff the couple will be too busy to remember or the guests won't even see. For instance, everyone at the ceremony is probably going to film the bride as she cries during the vows. But how many of those people are going to catch the mom and dad's reaction in the front row? Probably none unless a bridesmaid whips out her phone. Same thing with toasts. Everyone's going to film the best man's speech, but are they going to get close-ups of people laughing and clapping in the crowd? Probably not. Always film like the person watching this video lives on the other side of the planet. They really wanted to come to this wedding. They're super close with the bride and groom. They know everyone else who's going to be there, but they just couldn't make it. They'll be glued to their phones, watching low-quality live streams or scrolling TikTok and Instagram to keep up with everyone's content. Make sure your content looks different by filming all the moments the guests are going to miss. Ask questions like, when is the best time to get an emotional shot of the parents during the ceremony? Did the couple mention anyone specific in their vows, and how can I get a shot of them? What B-roll do I need to capture to give context to this moment? My advice is to capture what's happening, but listen to what's being said. That's the best way to get insider tips on really useful footage. If you shoot like you're creating this video for someone who would have killed to come to this wedding, you'll find yourself looking for ways to add context all day long. Okay, that's it this week. What do you think? Was I too harsh? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments, and until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll be in touch again soon with more tips for your next wedding video.